Hi, welcome back to the shop. If you're new here, welcome to the shop. Alright, as you know, we've been working on this Variac isolation transformer project, and I've been figuring the best way to mount this transformer. I drilled the holes through the box, but I did run into a couple of problems. Let me try to show you. See if I can zoom in there. It doesn't like that. Alright, one of the problems is, I didn't foresee this, is that the transformer mount, let's see if you can see that, is right next to the box. There's not enough room to get in here to get a wrench or anything in. Plus, I don't know if you can see that, this one up here is bumping into the stud that comes through the transformer. So I think I know what I'm going to do. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make some captive nuts that mount on this transformer. Let me zoom you back out again. So I'm going to make some captive nuts that mount on this transformer so that we can screw it in. And I'm going to have to either cut the big bolt that goes through over here, or I'm going to have to grind the screw from the power transformer. I also decided to make two new brackets for the Variac to go on over here, and because I didn't like the way the other ones were, they were a little bit too flimsy. So we're going to work on that. And I did cut and mount. Well, I hope this camera's focusing in. Anyhow, I did cut and mount the hole for the switch and the fuse and the inlet. This is called an IEC connector. There's plugs, sockets, switches. This is what's on the back of most of your computers. They call it IEC. I'm not sure what it stands for. I think it's International Electrical Code or something. But that's mounted. What we're going to do is we're going to, the fuse is right in here. We're going to take that fuse out, and I've got some new fuses, and we're going to change that to a little bit bigger one. So let me get the fuses, and we'll get right back. Okay, we're back. I had to get a little fuse assortment. It wasn't very expensive. These are, I'm used to the AGC and that. These apparently come by the size. And what these are 5 by 20s. They're 5 millimeters in diameter by 20 millimeters long. And as you can see, there's a bunch of different values in here. I will put a link down in the bottom for Amazon where I got these. Now there's a little chart here. Now I'm thinking I can put a little bit higher fuse in here than I do for the outlet to the radio or whatever. So what I'm going to do is, what do we have here? 10 amp, 12, 15, 5, and 6. I'm going to go 10 amp with this one, and maybe 5 amp with the other one, and I think that will be good enough. Anybody got any other opinions on that? give me a shout. I try to assume what the total draw would be, but it doesn't really help. If you figure you're running 35 or 40 watts at the radio side, you really don't need more than maybe a 2 amp fuse or 2.5 amp fuse, but we'll see. Alright, so if I'm figuring this right, this should be the 10 amps here. And I'm going to have to get my super magnifying glass to look at this, so hang on. Well, I have finally determined that this is the 10 amp. It's really hard to read the stampings in that. Probably because they're cheap fuses. But, so let's go ahead and put this in there. Oh, by the way, this, let me... Alright, this goes from 0.1 amp, quarter amp, 0.2 amp, half amp, 1 amp, 1.5, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10, 12, 15, and 20 amp. So you get a pretty good selection in here. Probably this is going to last me a lifetime. Alright. Now let's get this out. There should be a... Ah, yes, there is a little door, not a door, but a tab here. There we go. I think the one that's in here is only a half amp. There you see it. Now this basically just slides out, I think. Okay, well, it just pops out right there. So let's get the new one. We'll pop that one in there. It's not made for big hands. Okay, now we'll just put this back in the way it came out, which is like this, and you're all set to go. Okay, one project done. You will see I've got these screws nice and countersunk in here, so when I put it down it won't rub anything. So let's see what we can do with this transformer. It wasn't tightened in here, so I'm going to leave that one in. Take that bottom one off first. You know, I know I'm getting old, but this thing is heavy. All right. I made the hole just a little bit too snug. So I want to widen that out a little bit. Yeah. There we go. Let's see if we get this one out. I don't think we have to get that one out right this second. We'll get this one out. Probably don't even need to screw this thing down. Don't have a problem on this side because this is the head of the screw over here and it takes a little bit less space than the other side, which actually has a nut on it which is a little thicker. There it goes finally. How about this one? Alright, I'm going to bring you back when I get these out. Hang on. Well, I'm back. I put you in close so you can see what I'm going to do here. And basically, all we're going to do is solder the nut onto the transformer. Now, I cleaned the base of the bracket with sandpaper. It had some kind of a clear finish on it, probably to keep it from rusting. So I got that off. I sanded and cleaned everything up. I put a screw through it so that I know that the nut will line up with the hole. And we're just going to solder it on. Now, this is a butane torch. You can get them pretty cheap. I suggest you really have one around the house because it's really handy. I'll put a link to the one I use down below. So you want to make sure your flame is away from the paper or anything else that's damageable. And you just heat it up. Now I'm using plain old electrical solder. You can use plumbing solder with flux, but this is such a small job it's not a big deal. So you want to make sure you heat up both parts. The nut's going to heat up slower than the bracket, so you want to keep more heat on that. And like anything else, you want to keep the flame away when you touch the solder to it. Now I'm just keeping an eye on the nut because that's going to be the hardest one to solder. So let's see what we got here. Looks like it's doing pretty good. Now we'll do the other side. That flaming is just the rosin solder. Catching on fire is no big deal. One of the reasons you have the nut in there is not only to keep the nut centered, but you want to make sure you don't get inside the threads with any solder. Now this will do a good job of holding the nut while we put the bolt through it. I did drill these holes a little bit bigger because they were kind of tight. So this is going to take a little while to cool, but you can see it's soldered nicely to the nut and the bracket, and that's basically all we need. We don't even need a lot of strength to the joint, because once the screw gets tight, the friction of it holding it down will tighten it the rest of the way. So let's see if we can get you a better view of this one. I put one on one of the other stuff. Actually, it's working out so good, I think I'm going to put them on all 6. That'll save me a lot of time when I'm putting it in. So let's take a look at them. So this is the one we just did. Looks pretty good. We got one back over here. Doesn't have the solder all the way around it, but it's not a big deal. Okay, well, what I'm going to do is solder the other 4 off, and then we'll bring you back. Okay, well, I've got the transformer mounted in. Went pretty smooth. The only problem was right there. The nut wasn't lined up with the hole, so I had to go in there with the torch and heat it up and move it. That's why there's a little bit of a scorch mark on the plywood there, but other than that, not a problem. So what we have to do yet is I have to make some brackets for the Variac, and we got to pull the power input off the wall, off the side there, and get some wiring set up, and then we can start wiring. I've been looking forward to that. We'll see how it goes. But for now, we're going to let you go, and we'll see you on the next one. I would like to thank all my subscribers, and especially the new subscribers. I can't mention them by name because a lot of this, when you subscribe to a channel, somehow there's a feature on there where you can have your name hidden. So I got a lot of subscribers that the names didn't come up. So if you're one of those, thanks for the sub. I appreciate it. And all the new subs that came. So if you liked what you saw, there'll probably be more. I have some woodworking projects in the near future, and some more electronic projects, but I want to get this finished first. So with that, please comment, like, subscribe, share, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye.